My name is Kelray and I'm a mind-body tech. I help individuals and groups focus their mind to heal their body. I have successfully healed myself from paralysis, angioedema, COPD, and lupus, all which have been dubbed from the medical field as incurable conditions. I've also cured many other conditions as well by using my mind, and I look forward to the possibility of assisting you in using your mind to heal your body. You're probably here today because you have a dysfunction that you want to be clear of, or maybe you know someone who does, or perhaps you're a healer or someone curious about the power of the mind and how to use it. I'm going to tell you right now that this process does not usually happen overnight. It takes time, commitment, and real effort. In fact, it's like training for a race that you're not sure you'll win. However, if you're dedicated enough, you will win this race, and we'll talk more about this later. First, I'd like to look at a brief history of healing with mind. Though healing with mind is as old as time, let's start with recent history and look at Napoleon Hill, who published his first book in 1937. In his book, he presents the idea of placing the mind on a definite major purpose. Giving the mind a focus is essential because, according to Hill, 98% of people who had few or no strong beliefs made their success in life unlikely, and those that did give their mind a focus achieved their desires. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale was a successful American minister who, along with a psychoanalysis, established an outpatient clinic to help individuals cure themselves of illnesses through changing the way they think. He said, "Change your thoughts and you change your world." Zig Ziglar, a motivational speaker, said, "The mind creates the individual's world." He claimed, if you can dream it, the mind can achieve it. And then there's Fritz Perls, who was a psychotherapist who made Gestalt therapy famous. Gestalt therapy is a process of creating enhanced awareness in the mind that brings awareness to feelings, emotions, and behaviors in order to bring about change in the life. Fritz said, "Nothing changes until it becomes what it naturally is." And I agree, because the mind and body will naturally change into an optimal state of wellness when the mind allows it. And I get more into this in level 2 of healing with mind. Now, some of you may know Dr. Richard Bandler, who spent much time editing the recordings of Fritz Perls. Later, he, along with John Grinder, created a process called neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro-linguistic programming, nicknamed NLP, involves integrating the individual's mind with speech to program the individual for success. Now, I'm sure all of you know this guy. Anthony Robbins is an American author and life coach known for his books and events which speak on the power of the mind and how to use it to alter your life experience. He originally was a student of Richard Bandler and still uses NLP today at his events. Ernest Holmes was an American New Thought writer, teacher, and leader. He is the founder of a spiritual movement called Religious Science, whose philosophy is also known as the science of mind. This philosophy states that when the mind believes in something, then its creation is born in the physical world. One lady known as Louise Hay was a follower of religious science who became a science of mind minister. She later discovered how the mind affects the body after finding some ancient Christian science material. She then wrote the book You Can Heal Your Life in the 80s, which speaks on healing with mind. Now, of late, some of you may be familiar with Abraham Hicks, who has presented numerous workshops on the law of attraction, which speaks on how vibrations created by the mind create both good and bad within and outside of our bodies. Most of us are familiar with the movie The Secret, which was written and produced by Rhonda Byrne. She is a writer and producer known now for her book The Secret, which states that what the mind believes is then created in the physical world. Now, Now, even deeper truths on the power of the mind are found in ancient history, as there have been a plethora of religious philosophies that speak in some way on directing the mind. Some of these religions we already know, like Hinduism, Christianity, the Baha'i Faith, Self-Realization Fellowship, and many, many more. Why do they believe and teach this? Because somewhere, way back, they knew that each of us has the power and potentiality of a God. When it comes to focusing the mind, I like to share the story of Wilma Rudolph, who came from a poor family in Tennessee who couldn't afford a doctor. As a child, she suffered from polio, which left her disabled and walking with a limp. Yet she always carried the desire to be a track and field runner. She asked the school coach if she could train with the team. Did he laugh at her? No. He agreed to train her, and as she trained, her leg began to strengthen. Then she began to compete in school sports and was eventually spotted by a track and field coach. Long story short, she kept to her training and eventually became a world record holding Olympic champion, winning 3 gold medals in a single Olympic game. Her mind had a focus. In the 1930s, a child was born to a couple who had no ears. Needless to say, the child could not hear. However, the father, who believed in the power of the mind, held the belief that the boy could hear. He maintained with his wife that their child needed to go to a regular school with other children. He spoke to the child every day, believing that the child could hear him. And then one year, the child did hear him. A child with no ears could hear. The doctors found it unbelievable because he did not even have the internal structures to hear. They were so unsure about how this phenomenon was happening. Yet you and I both know it was caused by belief. The father had refused to believe that the child could not hear and trained the child to believe he could. He created the belief in the child, and the miracle was born in the physical world. I want you to know that your mind is infinitely more powerful than you have ever been taught. During that year, I was involved in a car accident that caused me to become paraplegic. Terrified of being an invalid and equally afraid of the medical system, I healed my body through the power of my mind. Now, I'm Canadian, and in Canada, we have snow and ice every year, and as a result, we either grow up playing hockey or figure skating. So I grew up figure skating. Later in life, I turned to rollerblading. Being an athlete, an ex-figure skater, and a thrill seeker, my friends knew me as an adrenaline junkie. I would routinely rollerblade down the steepest hills I could find, which I found to be great fun. Then one day, on an early Sunday morning while racing down a hill, I was hit by a car, not once, but twice. The car hit me running over my legs and then stopped with its back tires on my legs, pinning me to the pavement. The driver and passenger scrambled out of the car, crying, scared, and screaming. As I lay there on the ground, unable to even form a thought, something strange occurred. A voice from within me said, "Please calm down. Get back in the car, move the vehicle off my legs. Do not call an ambulance. Pick me up and take me home." While I realized this request was completely unconventional, it somehow felt right. I had no idea if they would honor this request. The voice spoke through me again, instructing them to pick me up and lay me sideways in the back seat. I was like a wooden doll with no movement, on the laps of 3 people I didn't know. The voice was firm and in charge as it gave them directions to my home. The largest men carried me into my house, and the voice instructed them to lay me down on the couch with a towel underneath me, as I had no feeling in my lower body. I asked them to leave and disregarded their protests. They left their insurance details and contact numbers on the kitchen counter and left. My body mind was exhausted, and I fell asleep for 12 hours. On waking, I could move my arms but not my legs. Refusing to believe I was paralyzed, something inside me proclaimed that I could heal myself through the use of my mind. I cannot explain this feeling of knowing, yet I distinctly knew. The first thing I did was drag myself to the kitchen counter and throw away their insurance details and contact numbers. This way I would not be tempted to report the accident and thus declare to my mind that I was injured and possibly an invalid. I told myself this current situation is only temporary. I then began to remap my mind-body connection through using my mind. For almost a month, I dragged myself around the house on my elbows, continuing my mental exercises each day, on and off for about 12 hours. During this time, I refused to see anyone. I did not want pity or alarm that would state to my mind that this injury was too serious to be unchanged. After about 40 days of relentless practice of mind-body work, I was at an all-time low. And then it happened. The miracle occurred, and I suddenly felt stimulation in my legs. It was so subtle, but it was there. I immediately began to try to stand. A couple days later, I was standing. What a joyous transgression! I could not walk, but I could stand. I could only endure moments of standing before crashing to the ground. Then I immediately telephoned an equipment rental service for a set of crutches. The crutches were delivered the next morning, and after that, things began to move swiftly. I then began retraining myself to walk. I was like a toddler learning to take steps. I collapsed in mental and physical exhaustion every evening. Yet weeks later, I was walking with a cane, and 2 weeks after that, I was rollerblading again. Please note that by sharing my story, I am in no way advocating that you do not see a doctor, or not go to the hospital, or not see a specialist if you are ever in such a situation. I am only recounting my story to share my experience regarding the choices I made at the time. I believe this experience was given to me so that I may have full conviction of how powerful the mind really is. It is this experience that has inspired me to share with you how the mind can completely heal the body. It was hard work, but well worth it, because today I have full use of all my limbs. I remember the wave of mass relief I felt the day I was able to stand, and a month later, able to walk. Today, I have so much gratitude for that car accident, not only because it presented me with the opportunity to take responsibility over my own life, but also because I became acutely aware of the power of my emotions, both good and bad. Additionally, the amount of self-empowerment I gained through this process of taking control of my life and healing my own body was paramount. This empowerment spilled over into all areas of my life. Looking back, I recall having a brief thought that my life was ending. Little did I know that it was only just beginning. I want to talk for a moment about healing angioedema. Angioedema is relatively unheard of unless you have it. Being a single mother and not having a support system, I was not emotionally prepared to be diagnosed with this illness. Angioedema is random swelling of the head which can manifest in a variety of ways. It can disfigure the face to the point of being unrecognizable, which my face was. So you can imagine the amount of fear moving through me during and after an episode. My mind was panicking with how was I going to support my child and just basically survive if I couldn't go to work or interact with other people. I was desperate, scared, and even thought about suicide. Nothing and no one could help me. I was completely alone, and the fear was so great that I knew I needed to calm down first. I realized my daughter had no one but me, and that's when I got firm, stepped up, and made the conscious decision to heal myself. At first, I let no one know about my condition except the doctors, who were totally unable to help me. I did not want pity, alarm, or anything that would render my mind-body weaker than it was at that time. I had to get determined, strong, and aligned to change the behavior of my body. It took me about 2 weeks full-time to cure the condition, and a few months of strengthening afterwards. And that was years ago, with no reoccurrences. Later, I created the Metallic O system of 13 formulas for mind-body healing, which I reveal in level 1 of my mind-body healing series. If you don't start self-healing now, then you will continue to accept your condition as permanent. Everything is vibration. We know this. Every scientist on the planet is in agreement with this concept. They have even proved it. You are vibration, and your body is composed of waves of vibration, and the positive and negative frequencies of these waves reveal themselves through your health. You also have the power to influence these vibrations and heal your body through a variety of ways, which I speak about in level 1 training. Now I want you to take a moment to imagine what would be different in your life if you were healed. What possibilities would open up for you if you had your health back? How would you be different? So let's go over who this information is for. It's for those that want to heal themselves. It's for doctors, holistic healers, those that the medical profession can't help, those that believe in the power of the mind, and those that desperately need to try something new. So stop listening to others tell you what you can and cannot do. What you need and what helped me the most was a system. So the grand trine of change and lasting success involves equal amounts of your commitment, your emotion, your use of tools to form belief in the mind-body. Whatever your health situation is, the good news is that you have an innate healing system already built into your body. This healing system is your own mind. Your mind can heal your body and create good health through tending to your mental focus, which deliberately affects the wave movements in your body. You were made for harmony, and if you aren't experiencing this right now, you can create it. And the Metallic O system of 13 formulas are the building blocks to creating a process that works with your mind-body. One year I shipped my motorbike to Spain and was riding up the coast on deserted brand new roads that went on for miles. I was riding a bike built for speed, and I found myself wondering if I could make the speedometer do a complete circle of 360 degrees. I sped up, and at one point I found myself suddenly airborne. Suspended in air, I could feel my heart sing. Yet at some point I realized that what goes up must come down, and I knew I had to be resolute in my thinking or I would crash. I focused my mind on the road ahead, and I gave a command to land perfectly straight, and though my eyes were open, I visualized my landing perfectly in my mind. I visualized with the ending in mind. My focus was piercingly steady, absolutely unwavering. There was no doubt in me whatsoever how the bike needed to land and how it would land. I did not allow my mind to drift from this intention. I held my image strong. I was calm, steady, and direct. Then the bike began to descend like a jet landing on an air pad, and touched down perfectly. But then it began to tilt downward. I re-aimed my mind at the bike being straight, and it suddenly shot upwards into alignment and took off in a straight line down the strip. A shooting star with me on it, all in perfect harmony. This is focused belief. The number one big thing I want you to know today is that you can do it. You can get in control of your health. You can change your body with your mind, just as you can change your life. It has been done countless times before, and I'm living proof. Change is happening everywhere as people begin to change their beliefs and trust themselves. You can be one of these people. It's up to you. If you enjoyed this presentation, it's my pleasure to bring forward information regarding the power to harness and utilize the mind. Whether or not you join my training platform, I want you to know that you can do it. Remember, futility does not serve you. It does nothing but dig the hole deeper. Action is key. Action in mind and body. Taking action creates change. Now, it's okay if you don't feel you can do it on your own. There is support. When you invest in your health, you invest in life, because no matter how rich you are, you can't enjoy it if you are suffering from ill health. So whether it's online training or coaching, it's still all learning for life, an investment in your health based on proven and successful mind-body healing techniques. So for those of you that want to move forward to create change in your life, then click on the link below and go to a secure page, and you'll be on your way to achieve mind-body harmony and self-empowerment. Here's to your bright future in excellent health.